In this video, we will have a look at the Spot Color tool module. This is a handy module for doing quick color comparisons when you don't want to go to the trouble of creating a whole job. It should be noted, however, that all measurements made in the Spot Color tool are lost when you either leave the module or measure another color into the screen. This is only a module for quick comparison. Once we enter the module, the first thing it prompts us to do is supply a substrate white measurement. While this dialog is on screen, proceed to measure the substrate white. This would either be the white of the substrate itself or the white ink that you're printing on top of. Now that the substrate has been supplied, I have a few options as to how I start my comparison. The Spot Color tool begins in reference mode, meaning that it's waiting for me now to measure my target, what I'm trying to compare against. In this case, I'll supply a measurement, and you'll see that the radio button then moves to sample, so the software is now ready for me to supply a sample measurement for comparison. So I can see between those two measurements, my delta E is 0.49, delta H is 0.55, and delta density 0.03. I also received some guidance that I can improve my delta E by decreasing density by 4 points, taking my density from 226 down to 222, which will reduce my delta E from 0.49 to 0.06. Now as I take another measurement, you'll see the radio button is still on sample. So this measurement that I take now is going to replace the one I just made. And I can see here, this one at a delta E of 0.24 represents the best match, and no perceivable change in density will get us to a lower delta E. If I measure something significantly different, we might also get a message saying check ink. In this case, the density of what I measured was much whiter than the color I was trying to measure. I can't reach it via a density adjustment, so I need to check this ink to determine what's happening. Now, it may be the case that you want to compare against a color in your library. You can access all of your color libraries by using the Select Reference button. From this screen, you see your reference color books on the left and the inks that are inside those books on the right. Now, being that I haven't selected a book right now, I can go and take a measurement, and the software will automatically look up across all of my books what the color is closest to. In this case, the green that I measured was closest to Pantone 3275, located in my solid coded V2 library. If this is the color I wish to use as my target, I press OK, and now that color is loaded as my new reference. Again, the software is ready for me to measure a sample to do a comparison. And as I do that, I see my delta E is a 1.49, yet I can improve it by reducing density 9 points, which will bring my delta E from 149 down to 0.42. Every time I take a measurement in the Spot Color tool, you'll see that the date and time is recorded in the upper right. This is useful if you want to hit the print screen button and send this measurement out for recording in other places. You can also export these measurements in a CXF file format for use with ink formulation systems. Let's have a look back in the Reference Manager to select a different color. In this case, I'm selecting the Pantone Plus color book, and I can see the Pantone colors which are inside. So if I take a measurement now, we will be comparing to colors within that library. And we can see a good color measurement there. Now, as I measure more colors, it may come to be that I want to go back to the green I measured originally. So after I make my gray measurement sample here, I go back to my Select Reference and scroll to the top. Here I have an item called Recent Items, and if I click on it, I see the colors that I've measured most recently, and I can find the green that I was working with, reload it, and then remeasure it. And that's a quick introduction to the spot color tool.